Hello, Commanders, and welcome back to Elite Dangerous Fleet Space Carrier series. We're right here at the very beginning of all of this, still kind of getting prepped to go, getting everything ready, making decisions, because once we leave, we're not going to be able to change some of the things that we might end up wanting to change later. So while I do want to get underway, A, I haven't really settled on a destination yet, and B, I don't know that I've 100% settled on the modules I want to have on the carrier. I think I have, but there have been a couple of requests made, or a couple of suggestions anyways, made in the comments about modules that I should probably take. I wanted to take a little bit of time at the beginning of this video to kind of go over my thought process on all of that. And I'm just honestly trying to give those of you who may have a vague interest in joining my carrier on this journey the chance to decide if that's something that you want. You know, if I'm going to get a few people who want to go along for the ride, then that might adjust my decision-making process. If I'm just going off by myself, then I'm pretty much set up the way I want to be set up. Before we get too far into the video, though, I would like to encourage you to help us reach our next subscriber milestone of 10,000 subscribers. The number will only go up if you actually press the button, so be sure to go ahead and do that. Press the like button so that the YouTube algorithm will know to spread it out to other people and give them a chance to subscribe. And then once you're done with this video, be sure to head over to the channel, check out the 1,500 plus other videos we have available over there for your viewing pleasure. They're organized into nice, neat little playlists for you, so be sure to go check that out. So all of that said, I do want to I don't know that I'm going to actually do anything in this video, so if you're looking for action, this isn't going to be the video for you. I'm kind of just going over my thought process right now, where I am in what I'm thinking I'm going to do, and kind of how we're going to move forward. So first and foremost, I have been working on mining, because I want to make sure that we're self-sustaining while we're out there in the black. Part of our exploration system is going to be looking for icy ring planets so that we can identify places to stop for tritium. Looking for tritium hotspots, hopefully. So while before we were exclusively looking for exobiology signals and things like that, and like water worlds and stuff, we're going to be a lot more thorough in this particular series because we don't really we're not able to rush wherever it is we're going. We're limited by how fast the fleet carrier can move, and that's going to make it so that we can't just plow through it. That said, I want to minimize the amount of mining that I have to do, and upon further research, I've seen that the more stuff you have in your fleet carrier, the more fuel it takes to move it from one place to another, which makes sense. It's just not something you think about in the moment. So my new plan is going to be, I want to keep as little fuel on the carrier as possible, so that when we make our jumps, it uses the minimum amount of fuel. And then once we get to whatever our destination is going to be for whatever, 1, 2, 3, 4 jumps maybe it is that we end up doing every week, we have just enough fuel to get us to our destination, minimizing the amount of fuel that we're using. So that way, once we get there, we have to mine as little as possible, because I don't want to have to spend a whole bunch of time sitting in asteroid belts and doing that kind of stuff. I have been practicing doing mining just to kind of make sure that I have all of the equipment that I need, make sure everything's all set up, make sure that the fleet carrier is going to be self-sustaining. I think we're going to be okay, and I'll tell you why here in just a second. We have a couple of ships. I have a couple of ships set up to go out and do mining. Obviously, we have our Type 8 transporter, right? So we'll switch over to this ship real quick. Go over my loadout for that. I'm also looking for suggestions from those of you who are experienced miners who might have some better ideas for how this stuff can work. But this is what I have going on right now. Don't necessarily need the seismic charge launcher, but I already have. Well, you know what? I actually do. I actually should change this out. Because the size 2 surface displacement missile thingy carries a lot more missiles in it, so I actually do need to swap that out. Okay, so what I can probably do then is, I'll figure this out on my own time. But anyways, my thought process is going to be, I want to be able to do the subsurface mining in the asteroid. I want to be able to blast off the surface of the laser so we can maximize the amount of tritium that we're getting, right? I want to have the abrasion blaster available because even though they're not that common, if we come across any surface deposits of tritium, I want to be able to blast those off. We have our pulse wave analyzer for finding things. We have fully engineered everything for that. And then we have enough cargo capacity this will give us a reasonable amount of cargo capacity to do a couple of jumps. So if I end up deciding that I only want to do like 2 jumps per week or whatever, because I don't want to move across, I don't want to move too fast. We want to actually do some exploring this time rather than just trying to hurry up and get to our destination. So I feel like, you know, upwards of 200 should be a reasonable amount to do a couple of jumps, especially if we keep the weight down. Then we have a bunch of collector, 2 5A collector limpets to maximize the number of limpets that we can carry. The prospector limpet that we need to be able to search for stuff. A shield, make sure we don't die. The refinery to convert the fragments into full-on tritium, and then our surface scanner there. So this is our small-scale mining ship. But after some research and watching a couple of videos, I did decide to take the Federal Corvette that I have. You know, we're not going to be able to use it for combat out in the black. So I saw a guide on YouTube where they're specifically focused on tritium mining, and that I kind of modeled this ship. I still have all the weapons and everything I have for this to be a combat ship. They're stored in the fleet carrier, but I have some updated. I've updated this to be a mining platform as well. So we have a couple of 2 Class 2 subsurface displacement missiles, so that we can switch back and forth between to make sure to maximize the number of missiles that we have. 3 Class 2 mining lasers and a couple of abrasion blasters. I realize this is not the most optimal strategy, but I do want to have the option while we're out there of if we come across a couple, might as well snag them while we're there, right? Because Class 1 mining lasers aren't really going to add very much to the 3 Class 2s that I have here, so it just doesn't make sense to waste those slots on that. And if I can snag a couple of extra tritium every now and then from that's good. Shield boosters and the pulse wave analyzer, just to make sure that if we run into anything in this massive ship, we never blow through our shields. Fully engineered everything. I'm still kind of deciding whether I want to do a SCO version of this. I should. I'm probably going to. There's another reason I'm not quite ready to leave yet. I just want to make sure, because once I leave, that's it. We can't update anything, and for however long we're out in the black, we're stuck with this. So I'm kind of taking my time before we leave to make sure that every detail has been thought out and we know what we're doing. Over 200 tons of cargo space, big collector limpet, shield generator, another couple of big collector limpets, and a prospector limpet controller. The guide that they had a the multi one, the one that does all different kinds. But the problem I was running into with that is that if you use all of your limpets for collection, there's no way to turn any of them off. So you end up either having to shut down the entire unit, which disables all of them, or that's it. That's the only option you have. So I'd rather just have dedicated collector limpet options here and then have one dedicated prospector limpet. I lose a few limpets doing it this way, but it makes sure that I don't have to waste limpets shutting units down so that I can re-access prospector limpets again. It's just kind of the way that was worked. Since I have these military slots in here, I just did some Guardian Shield reinforcements. If I don't have the... hold on, I gotta... exclusive my screen here. If I don't have the Guardian frame shift booster here, then I'm going to lose a few more light years, which ideally isn't that big of a deal. I'm hoping, my thought process right now, based off of my 0 experience in having a fleet carrier out in the black, is that we will take whatever ship we have and be at whatever tritium spot that we want, call the fleet carrier there, board the fleet carrier, grab our ship, and then grab our mining ship, and then go there and do that. So I don't know that I necessarily need that, but I'd rather have a decent jump range just in case, because I can't change it later. I mean, I could if I have another module on here. I guess I could, but we'll figure it out later. Refinery, detailed surface scanner for identifying hotspots, and then that's it for that. So I have a couple of mining ships here. I'm also considering doing that channel that I was watching has a laser, a straight up full on mining laser version. Oh, that has a fine on it. For the cutter, which I may end up doing, but I need to go get the reputation grind to unlock the permit for the advanced mining lasers, for the Class 1 mining lasers. So I'm not sure about that yet. I need to see if I've done that permit already or not. But I don't think I have. But there's a pre-engineered, really nice Class 1 mining laser that you can get that really makes up for a lot of the problems that having the smaller laser goes for. Anyways, so that's mining, that's tritium, that's all of that stuff, kind of in a nutshell. I'm still kind of trying to decide how I'm going to do all of this here. I'm definitely not going to worry about the redemption office or the secure trading because I don't really need... I looked up the amount that you get from codex entries, and it's like 50,000 credits or something like that. So unless somebody can give me a really, really good reason to have to spend an extra, $1.5 million plus credits every week on this office just to get some codex stuff redeemed, I don't know that I'm going to bother with that. Definitely don't need the secure trading because we're not going to be anywhere where secure trading is going to really be necessary. Okay, so let's hop into our carrier management here and take a look at the rest of the modules that we have. So it was suggested, I did end up getting the armory because that's the only way I can replace my limpets. I'd rather not have to pay. Well, that's the only way you can restock weapons and vehicle hangers and all that stuff too. So to be able to restock my displacement missiles and restock my limpets, I kind of need this service. It kind of sucks that that's the way that works, but it is what it is. We don't need the redemption office because I'm not worried about. We're obviously not doing any combat stuff. So the only thing we would use it for would be codex entries, and I don't think you get very many credits out of that. So unless somebody can point to something that's going to make that worth spending this amount of money every week on it, I just don't see it. I'm on the fence, leaning towards no when it comes to the shipyard because look how much it costs to maintain that. 6.5 million credits every week just to provide the ability for other people to use my fleet carrier and store their vessels there. And I'm not opposed to doing that, but if I'm going to do that, then I'm going to need to have enough people coming along for the ride to justify adding that expense on every week. So, if nobody's coming with me, or if only like 1 or 2 people are coming with me, unless you guys are going to commit to helping me keep that up. I mean, I know 6.5 million credits isn't a lot. Realistically, one Stratum Tectonicus will pay for, a month's worth of upkeep for this. But at the same time, I don't know that I want to commit myself to that unless I have a good reason to, because this and the other one, the Pioneer Supplies that was recommended, this and that, if I was to do both of those, I had a viewer who commented that I should bring this along because I could restock all of my on-foot stuff. I don't really need that, I don't think. I already have all of my equipment geared out the way I want it to be. We're not going to be fighting anything, so the only thing I'm really going to be using is my Artemis suit. So I don't see the point in bringing this along unless it's going to benefit people who might be coming along for the ride and really want to have that service available. I mean, this is going to be another 500 million credits that I'm going to have to spend up front, and then on top of that, I have to add another 11.5 million credits, almost, every week that I have to come up with, which admittedly isn't that hard, but it's going to double. It's basically doubling what I'm committing to right now. So I'm not necessarily saying absolutely not to the shipyard and Pioneer Supplies. I keep going too far. But I'm heavily leaning towards no unless I have a really good reason to say yes. It doesn't, and in my mind, it doesn't matter that it's not all that hard to come up with the credits. I just don't like wasting money if I don't have to spend the money. So that's kind of my thought process on that. Definitely don't need outfitting. And that would be another, that would be another 5 million credits on top of that to make it so that, other players can come in and, change out their equipment and stuff. I think that if I was going to add any other services, though, that might make sense to be the one, because it would make it so that if somebody didn't want to store a bunch of ships, but just wanted to bring one ship that had a bunch of different modules that they could swap out, I wonder if that makes sense. If I was going to add something, I think that's probably the one that makes the most sense, so that, somebody could bring a multi-purpose ship that they wanted to bring to do different things out in the black, and then you can just swap out your items rather than having to store a bunch of different ships. That might make sense to do. And it would be much easier to convince me to do that than a shipyard and the Pioneer supplies, because realistically the only thing you're going to use the Pioneer supplies for is to restock on things like e-breaches and other consumables that we're not going to be using out in the black. So that's, I don't know, that's my thought process on that. So assuming I'm going out by myself, which I'm assuming that's going to be the case, the items that we have on here now is what we're going to be taking with us. I only need Universal Cartographics and Vista Genomics as far as additional things outside of the armory to restock my limpets and my missiles for mining. And then we're bringing the concourse bar mostly just because I want the aesthetic of it, not necessarily the services that they offer. So that's kind of what we're at right now. Now, as far as destinations go, I've been kind of looking at the Elite Dangerous Galaxy map, or the website that allows you to have the galaxy map. I forget what it's called, the Elite Dangerous Star Map or something like that. And it has a list of things that you can look up and kind of sift through and decide where you want to go. But it's kind of a problem for me because I'm one of those people that suffers from too much choice. So I don't want to have no options, but I also don't want to have a million options because it makes it very hard to narrow down where you want to go. So right now, I'm kind of taking the cheap, easy decision process of saying, hey, maybe our first little trip can be out to Colonia. Because it's a popular destination to go. I haven't been to Colonia in a while. So it's a nice, easy first trip with the carrier to kind of get in the groove of, moving it around the galaxy, getting used to refueling it. And ideally, because if I remember correctly, they did a highway of stations out to Colonia, so there should be a reasonable number of places to restock on fuel if I get stuck or whatever. So I'm kind of thinking that for a first nice little trip, because Colonia is not that far away, and it's kind of a gimme destination to go to. That's kind of my thought process right now, unless you guys can come up with some better places to go, or if we can set Colonia as our ultimate destination for the first leg of our trip, and maybe you guys let me know of some cool stuff you want to see along the way on the channel between here and there. So, yeah, I don't think I have anything else I need to cover as far. Oh well, and I'm still deciding. I know that it's not that much money, but if you've been following my channel for any length of time, you know that for the past couple of years, I've been in a situation where I have to make decisions about whether I want to spend $20 on a freaking game. So I would really like to be able to upgrade this stuff, especially upgrading it to look like a science vessel like this. Oh, hold on. Especially upgrading to look like a science vessel like this, because I think this looks cool. I think it looks sort of like, Star Trek science vessel kind of deal. But, at the same time, it's like, I would have to spend $20 or $30 to get all of the arcs I need to, get all of the different little things that I would like to get. Obviously, I don't know. So, I'm of two minds about doing that. Obviously, I can do it, but do I want to do it? My channel isn't at the point where I can just arbitrarily just spend money whenever I want to. When I get to that point, it's bringing in enough income that popping $20 on something like this is not a big deal. Then I won't even talk about it anymore. But for now, I have to explain why I don't just do it. I'm not in a position where doing that is just a no-brainer decision. Sorry. Okay. So I think that's probably everything I wanted to go over for all of this. For actually moving around the galaxy, though, we'll be swapping back and forth between the various different ships that we have. Maybe sometimes I'll take out the Courier. Most of the time, we're probably going to be running around in the Diamondback Explorer. I got the Asp Explorer all set up and kitted out, ready to go, just to have some variety, along with our tried and true Phantom Explorer, Crate Phantom. I grabbed the Orca here because I really like it. I really like this ship. I actually was using this as my primary deep core mining vessel. That's why it's called Deep Core 2. because it's highly maneuverable. It has just enough hard points to do all of the abrasion and deep core mining stuff that I want to be able to do with it. And it has a really nice cockpit to sit in while you're doing mining. It's just a beautiful ship. So I'm also kind of thinking I might buy a couple more ships because there's a few. I'm not going to be able to buy any more ships once we leave. And I want to have access to all of the different ships that I like, so that when we're out in the black and I'm bored and I want to just do something and I want to fly a completely random ship, I want to have it available to me. So I may buy a Beluga because that's my favorite large ship. Those of you, I've made it clear in the past that it really bothers me that the Beluga is not the premier exploration vessel, period. Because that's more... I know it's technically supposed to be a people carrier, but I mean, the missions associated with the people carriers a lot of those are deep space exploration missions where you have to fly a long distance, or you have to travel a long distance to find some specific thing. I mean, exploration, right? But it has a significantly inferior jump range to even the Phantom, and it's just unfortunate. And the fuel scooping on it sucks. It sucks hard. So it's just, as much as I'd love for it to be a deep space platform that I could, like, if the Beluga was set up, if they did a couple of things, if they made the Beluga setups to where it had the same class, I forget what the Anaconda has, but the same highest class internal component, so you could put the biggest fuel scoop in there, and they made it to where you could equip a better frame shift drive, like upgrade the class of the frame shift drive to make it at least comparable to the Anaconda. That would make it to where I would be much more interested in taking it out into the black, because you could bring a couple of fighters with you to go play around on the surface of a planet and do like canyon flying and stuff like that. And it's a disposable ship. But they don't see fit to make the Beluga anything other than a massive bloated people carrier ship, and it could be so much more if they just did couple of little tweaks to it. But anyways, yeah, enough of that. Sorry for my little tangent there, but I really like the Beluga. I think it's a really cool ship, and I wish it had a better... I wish it was better... I wish it was given a little bit more love. But anyways. So yeah, a couple of other ships that I'm thinking about grabbing. I don't know that I'm going to grab... I'm not going to try to get one of every ship, but... thinking about grabbing the Beluga just so I have it out there when I feel like pulling it out and playing with it. I don't know that I necessarily care about the new Mark II Python. It's not going to be particularly useful for mining. It's not going to be particularly useful for anything. So I don't see grabbing that. And because I don't want that, I don't necessarily need the regular Python, because the Type 8 that I have isn't as good according to a lot of sources, but it's good enough that I don't like the Python enough to bother grabbing it. I just don't care enough about it. So am I able to actually look at the list here? I know that there's not really much. Yeah, no ships available for purchase here. If I had been in a better place, then we could have looked at the entire list of all the ships, but I don't have a full-on shipyard here, and I'm not going to spend the money to grab it either. So yeah, I'm not trying to waffle or anything, and I'm not trying to like drag this out intentionally. Like, I'm not dragging it out just to drag it out. I'm dragging it out because I'm just trying to make sure that once we leave, we're set, and I'm not going to have some kind of stupid massive thing that I missed because I was in a rush to get out of here. I want input from you guys. I want to have some time to kind of go over the details and make sure that we have everything that I think we're going to need, so that once we're out in the black, I'm not kicking myself in the butt because I forgot something or I didn't think about something or whatever. And I also just want to give you guys time to decide if you want to join me on this adventure. I mean, I said from the beginning that when I was going to get this fleet carrier, I wanted it to be something that maybe those of you who want to go do a deep space expedition and you would be interested in having my fleet carrier as a home base for you while we do that. I wanted it to be something that could maybe be a social kind of thing. Whether that happens or not, that's on you guys. This is the carrier name. I'm currently located in the leased system or something like that. So you can find it there. You can dock it there. If enough of you are interested in going and enough of you really want to have the shipyard access available so you can bring other ships, then I will commit to putting that, I will commit to putting other things on the carrier that cost more money because it's going to have a purpose, because you guys will need those things. But if it's just going to be me and a couple of other people, then it's not worth committing. It's not worth committing all of that. So anyways, I know I've babbled on enough. 25 minutes of talking about this stuff. I told you it was not going to be an action episode, but I kind of needed a status update here. I kind of needed a video that was just going to push the departure date out a little bit more. Not just for me, but also for you guys, so you guys can either A, give me some input on what you think we should be doing, and B, move some assets over, or let me know that you want to move some assets or whatever if you want to come along for the ride. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Like the video to spread it out to more people. Subscribe to the channel so that we can help, so we can reach that 10,000 subscriber mark. Join the channel as a member if you'd like to help grow the channel in a more substantial way, or you can just leave YouTube's version of a tip with the thanks button. So again, thank you very much for watching. Hope you guys are enjoying this new video series that we're doing, or this new playlist in this continuing video series that we've been doing. Be sure to come back for the next episode, and I'll see you then.